Sick of paying for hours you aren't even sure your team actually worked? See this little sticker tag from Connect Team? It's gonna save you tens of thousands of dollars a year. No more expensive hardware, no more manual admin work. Your team walks in, they just tap their phone to the NFC tag, and boom, they're on the clock. That's it. It completely cuts out time theft and buddy punching because you know exactly when they show up. So you're only paying for actual work. And get this, if an employee went home and forgot to clock out, the app's GPS just clocks them out automatically. Seriously, guys, Connect Team's NFC, your business needs it.
Toyota's 4th of July sales event ends Monday. Shop Toyota's 21 hybrid and electrified models like Corolla Hybrid and Camry. Low APR on all EVs like 1.99% on the CHR or 0% APR plus finance cash on BZ. Toyota, let's go places. Click the banner or visit toyota.com for details.
All right, since we got a bunch of folks in the room now, I'll switch over to talking so I can do this faster. Bear with me for a moment. Let me see. This market is kind of at a point where I need to be paying attention. The market is really slow right now, so a spread of 11 is a lot, but it can reverse really fast, which it just did. So tape surf, the price over here on Kalshi has almost nothing to do with this graph that's on Kalshi. If you watch, it really reacts to the price on Coinbase that's currently being traded, which is this number right here, 64,162. That's the price that's currently going for on Coinbase. And if you watch, these two numbers are the most correlated. Bots are trained to trade quickly on price changes on Coinbase. So overall, my guess on this going into it was down, but not very confident, like just might go down. And now we're right toward the end. It's very close. I'm not particularly interested in this market because it's so close. And my strategy is really high percentage plays and just scalping 5 to 20 cents off them. Depending on the market, I will get in. If it's really fluctuating up and down, I'll get in when the price is low and try to scalp that 5 to 20 cents early in the market. But that's not what the conditions are on a Sunday afternoon at this moment. I think I may just scalp this, see if I can right here. We'll just do 5. And it's probably too late. It's only 2 minutes left, so the price is reacting pretty dramatically, pretty fast. So I'm probably not going to get placed at this, but I would maybe have gotten in at 94 right there. It's not a big deal. It's not really worth it for me to get in at 94, although they were almost dropped down to it. That's risking 94 to win. And look, and here's the risk you would take is like this massive drop off right here. So this is not really a place I'm pretty glad I did not get in at that 94 because now it's questionable. You can see the price over here is 166 now, which is below the 167. Nice job, Blessed Rising. Okay. It's up and down for real, yeah. So what to bet on going up or down? I'm not going to do anything. Let's see. Smart. Actually dropping crazy quick. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I'm now kind of somewhat, I think, caught up in the chat. If you have specific questions about this, to get your screen to look like this, you're going to get Kalshi on your computer and get it in half of your window or half of your screen. And tape surf, here's the website. Here's the addresses for this. tapesurf.com/coin/BTC/order-book. And then you can use any site for charts. Coin Market Cap uses TradingView. And what I've got here, the only indicator I've got on is Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands kind of help me get a sense of when the market might want to flip back in the other direction. And those are the times when I see the Bollinger Band, like when we're outside up here, like above this blue line or below this blue line, I'm more confident that we're going to reverse. along the same lines, if there's a big order on the books, if there's like, a big wall of like a whale has put in, 100,000 right here, I'm actually looking for this to be a wall because it's so many contracts to sell that it will kind of cap the price. So I'm kind of looking on that. All of this is just indicators. They don't predict. All they do is give you kind of, maybe a leaning, just a slight leaning going into it. So you got, okay, it might want to do this. I think I need to change this. All right, let's see. Yeah, I did 300 off 10 the other day, but kind of just off luck of Bitcoin going up all night. Yeah, well, yeah, if you can find a streak like that, that's ideal. Compact or ag versus single. Okay. Here's a question. You wouldn't jump in at market open based off last trend? Usually no, but based on what I'm seeing on the chart, I may be looking to get in on a reversal, especially if it gets cheap. It's going in the other direction. Let's say the chart were to say this is most likely going up. And right now it's only like $10 down, and I think it's going to go up. I might try to get in at 29 right now. The chart does not indicate that. The chart has a slight leaning toward down, but I don't really even play that game. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I try to wait, be patient, and then get in somewhere between only 75 if I'm pretty confident in the chart and I feel like we're solid. But I tend to like to be a little bit more conservative when it depends on market conditions. If I'm kind of iffy, I'll just wait and get in at 94 and scalp 5 cents, 94 to 99. The other thing I can do with my confidence level is raise the amount of contracts or lower the amount of contracts. So I think it is a good rule to only invest 1% of your bankroll in any market. It's a lot easier to do that when you have more money. It can be hard to say, oh, I'm just going to do 2 contracts, how boring. But really, if you're not sure, you definitely should do just with 1% of your bankroll. If you're feeling pretty confident, maybe you're, 2-3%. But really, you should, ideally, for managing your bankroll, you should stick to a small percentage of your bankroll at one time if you want to survive in this game. The conditions right now are pretty quiet. Let's look at the last hour here. I mean, kind of choppy, up and down, not a ton of movement. And this is a lot, but there's also a lot of time left. So we're over here at 64,117. Pretty confident, but I don't like to get in before 7 minutes. That's just kind of a rule. Trend says down this time. That's what I would have leaned toward going into it. What time frame you use? I try to wait until 7 minutes. I think that's what you're asking. Yeah. It's been very iffy the last few days. Do you agree? Yeah. it's always iffy. Like these markets are unpredictable. But yeah, this last week there was a few days where it was just diabolical, where it would get to 90%, 95%, and then flip and go the other way. Yeah. The other thing that's really important, and you'll see how I kind of do that once I get into a trade here, is that, and it's probably the thing I'm worst at and really working on, and it's so important that I get this right and stick to this. But learning to take a stop loss. So if I get in at, let's say, 85 cents, well, I really need to get out if it drops down to 75. Like, I just need to get out. Because I've lost my edge. There's no reason for me to stick in there and risk the remaining 75 cents. So I always set up take profit at like 99 or 99.5 or 99.9, again, based on my confidence level. And once I get that take profit on the board and it's on the books and in place, I will go and just have the stop. You can't program a stop loss in Kalshi in prediction markets, but you can kind of be ready to hit a button to submit your stop loss. So basically, once I set my take profit at 99.9 or whatever, I submit that, it goes on the books. Then I click on, there's usually right about here on the thing, there's going to be a clock, and that's your order. I'll click on that, and it'll allow me to kind of edit it up here. I'll change the price and just hover over the button to stop loss. And I have such a tendency to try to hold on. For this strategy to work, to go in high and scalp, you really can't lose all of it. So if it's gonna go against you and you're gonna lose your edge, you got to get out. So that is that's probably for me the hardest thing. The other hardest thing is to try not to, when you lose, try to make it back right away. These are all recipes for kind of disaster. So I've tried a lot of strategies. I think I've got a number of strategies that work better in different market conditions. This market right here is kind of a runaway freight train. Kind of out of nowhere. It just went down 100, 90 or whatever. So, it's great. It's high probability of being a win, but I may go in just to show how to do it. I click on that. I always do limit orders so I can try to avoid fees. We're going to do, if we get it, we'll be real happy. Let's just go with our bankroll currently. Let's just go 5. And we're just going to try and get it at 94. Whoops. Probably not going to get it. We're 90 away with 5 minutes to go, but we'll see. Might get enough of a downturn here to click in at 94. But again, I'm not super worried about it. This is kind of the exact market I do want, but it just happened a little too fast, or it either happened a little too fast or a little too slow. Hard for me to explain that one, but if it goes super far away really early, I may get in because it's just too far away from the strike. But anyway, in this situation, I'm also talking a lot, and my attention is being kind of displaced a little bit. So I'm going to stop talking for a little while. I kind of came in, answered everybody's questions, I believe. Before I go and turn the music back on and just go back to trading, does anybody have any questions you want me to answer before I kind of go into trading mode? Well, my pleasure. And thank you so much for your questions and for being here. If you want to click some emojis for me, give me 5 emoji clicks, that would help. And yeah, just give a like to the video, and I appreciate you being here. I'm trying to be on every day, usually in the evenings, but sometimes on the weekends during the day. And I try to go for just as long as I'm on. You know, if I'm trading, I try to be on. So, do you have a Kalshi account I can follow? I do. Let me go into this market and just make a comment. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So my name is 7 Streams. So there's my name on there. If you want to follow me, my rule that I have is that as far as the inner circle, if you want to apply for the inner circle, I've got a long list of people that want to be in that. If I get this account to over 1,000, I'm going to accept everybody who's in the list. Until then, I'm still in testing mode. There's no real reason to follow, what I'm doing. So I feel like I have a good strategy, but I have to prove it with my results. So, yeah. So that's how you can stay connected with me. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'm going to put the music back on and get into trading mode. So yeah, I did take down at 86 cents. It's a pretty low risk, high probability. Wasn't 100% sure, but you know, as you can see, I've got 70 cents on the screen just in case I need to stop loss if this moves crazy in the wrong direction at the end. But looking pretty good. I mean, 98.8. I've got take profit set for 99.9, which just allows me to not stay in until the very end and get almost everything out of it. Sometimes I just do 99 if I'm not as confident, but I haven't seen the book really go above 64,030 for this whole time. So I'm guessing I'm going to get this 99.9 any second now. So there it is. It's only a 65-cent win, but for a kind of a meh probability, I'm okay with any win. Honestly, I you know, especially when my bankroll is only 107. I'm trying to do the 1% as much as possible. If I'm really confident, up to 5, maybe 10. And sometimes if I'm really confident, like we're over here right now, we've got a situation where this is pretty appealing for me. As soon as we get down where we're touching the Bollinger Band on the bottom, the suggestion is an up is likely coming soon. It doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% guaranteed to happen next time, but we're down really significantly over the last two, and we're kind of pushing the edge of being oversold. And so that there's a good chance that buyers are about to come in and start buying up some of these cheap prices. But again, it's just a tendency. It's an indicator. It's not guaranteed, but you can see the price is starting to bounce right here. I was hoping it would wait to start bouncing until the next market, but no such luck. Let's see. Love what you're doing. If you get to, so as long as you are, love what you're doing. If you get to 1,000 subs and stream for as long as you are now, even if you only average like 10 viewers, it's still like $500 a month ad revenue. Oh, that's good to know. No, I didn't really know how that worked. But yeah, I think this is working just great. I enjoy doing it. I'm disabled and at home all day, and you know, in the middle of the day, at about 4 o'clock, I usually like to go out and do some stuff in the yard and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a very entertaining thing for me. I've been doing it for like, I think 6 or 7 months now. Doesn't mean I know everything, but I know a lot more than I did when I started. That's for sure. So always open to learning more, always open to growing, and hopefully making some money with y'all. Although this is not investment advice, and I'm not an investment advisor, right? If I'm going to do this, I got to say that all the time. So this is for educational purposes only. I'm trying to make some money. I'm going to buy a laptop and do it like you. Okay, cool. You can definitely do it on your phone, but it requires you can just have it all on the screen at once is kind of helpful. Especially having the order book, the tape surf on the screen, or just having the Coinbase real time, because this price the price on Kalshi mostly, oh wow, just dropped off a cliff. Mostly reacts to the price on Coinbase is what I'm finding. What's your net profit lately? I made like 50 bucks yesterday. I kind of had a couple rough days in a row where the market was awful. And so I kind of reevaluated, tried to figure out what to do with that, and really had a successful day yesterday. And I kind of got some momentum. I would say I'm being pretty conservative at the moment. Kind of coming back to my initial advice that was given to me for trading. Ideally, you want to have your profits double of what your losses are. Meaning, I want to make 20 cents per contract if I can. And if I'm trying to do that, I have to set my stop loss at 10 cents below where I got in. So when I lose, I don't lose 10 cents. When I win 15 or 20 or whatever. Just so I can get at the 50-50 break. And since I get in at such high probability, my probability is actually like 75%. So you run all those numbers, you think about it all. It's a recipe for profit if you're disciplined and you stick to the routine, you stick to your and you don't overexpose yourself. Really, the rule of law is like you should only invest 1% of your bankroll on any market, on any investment. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But because I am such high probability plays, right now I'm giving myself 5 contracts. So that's the scaling where I'm at. But it's a real conservative, steady, small profits, kind of dink and dunk your way to glory. So I'm not trying to make a bunch of money right now. What I'm trying to do is earn 10% every day. That's the goal. So I started today at, actually I'm slightly down because I took a loss. So I started the day at 108. So that's basically $10.80 is my goal for profit for today. And I think that's a great way to go about it. Yeah, streaming pays so much more than regular vids. Oh, okay. But I have to get to 1,000 subscribers before I can be getting ad revenue, right? I appreciate everybody showing up, and I've been getting a lot of support. People are really enjoying it. I did have somebody yesterday tell me that they've made over $2,000. They've created because of what I taught them, they've created a bot, and they're making all kinds of money, and he's going to send me the code for that bot. So anyway, I just like to hear that this is helping people. I've spent a lot of time thinking about all this and testing things and failing and then learning from that and growing. I do think, I don't know the name of the guy, but the guy who does Warrior Trading on YouTube, I think gives excellent advice about trading in general. And a lot of what I'm doing is based on what he teaches. So you can see this one is a runaway freight train. I could try to get in here for 5 cents or whatever at the end. But it's broken through it's broken through the Bollinger Band on the lower line significantly. So now this is severely oversold. If I were a betting man, I would bet on a bounce back right now. Hype has good odds. go over there. What I have found is that just by clicking on the combo, where is this at? Oh, well, on my phone I have the combo option, and that just brings up all of them. But we can go check out Hype just to see what's going on. HYPE. Thanks for the heads up. Since I don't know anything about Hype, but I'm guessing 7 cents is pretty significant for Hype, but not significant enough because it's disappearing here. Do you come up with your own strats, or is it from someone else? Probably kind of a mix of both, of like a lot of stuff I've learned. I would say with the guy on Warrior Trading, I can't remember his name, but he always says strategies. I like him. I think he's very smart. I think he knows what he's talking about. So part of my strategy comes from that. A lot of it just comes from having spent hours and hours and hours watching these markets, or especially Bitcoin. I've started to watch Solana a little bit more. I don't know enough about Hype to get involved with this. I try to be an expert and not like over dilute myself. So I know a little bit more about Sol. Let's see what's going on with Sol. But here's my thoughts on when it's kind of starting to break out of the quiet mode from this whole weekend, which is pretty normal for Sunday afternoon for this trading to start to pick up. But when it's quiet, I like to stick with Bitcoin. Just because the margins are so small on these smaller cryptocurrencies that they can flip in an instant and get you in a really bad position. It takes a while for Bitcoin because it's so big and there's so many people invested in it, and the movements are much bigger. When it's slow, that's kind of the most stable place to be, is Bitcoin. So these are all, interesting, and I check them out. And when it gets really chaotic, I'll come over to Sol and work on Sol. So, but for now, we're going to stick to Bitcoin. Even though there's not really. So that's interesting. Some of those smaller ones are bouncing back off this oversold position, but Bitcoin is not. So what I'm probably going to do on the next one is just do 2 contracts for up right at the beginning, because if I'm going to get in at the beginning, it's going to be on this setup right here, where it's like either way up above the top of the Bollinger Band or way below the Bollinger Band. And we're kind of outside of the band completely. How long you planning on streaming today? I grabbed it. It's down at 75. Wouldn't recommend that. Yeah. Based on what I saw. I don't know. Kind of as long as I feel like doing it. I went to Home Depot yesterday. I had an order in, and for like a bunch of spray paint to do this project, and drove all the way over there. It was like a 45-minute drive. I'm in Northern California on the coast in the Redwoods. It's a beautiful place. It's amazing, but it's really rural. And so the closest town to where I live that has like Home Depot and stuff like that is about, 30, 35 minutes away. So I drove over there, They said, yeah, we'll have it ready for you. Paid for it up front and all that. Got there. They said, oh, no, we don't have it. Won't be here till Thursday. It's like, okay, great. So my construction project is on hold, so I don't really have a lot to do. So I may be doing this more than usual today. A lot of it also has to do with how many people stick, how big of a crowd there is. If there's only one person in the live, I'm like, well, I'll call it a day. But if there's people around, I'm happy to keep streaming. So Bitcoin on Binance or Coinbase? Coinbase. So I'm going to talk about that up here right now. So on the tape surf, which has, I think four different exchanges. Let me see if I can get it to move around. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Well, actually, you made a really good, helpful suggestion there. So that was on Binance, but now we're on Coinbase and Kraken. And let me just update this because it gets off the screen and a little confusing. The first one, I'm really zoomed in here. The first one is Binance. That's almost always higher than what the price reacts to on Kalshi. So I don't pay attention to Binance. This is another exchange that is smaller. But what I do pay attention to is Coinbase. Kraken, a little bit, but the price on Coinbase is really tied to the what it's selling for in Kalshi. So right now it's $63,899, and I've noticed through the observations that like all of the other three that are on here don't have near as much impact on the price on Kalshi as Coinbase does. I'm guessing because for U.S. Folks, we don't have access to Binance API, but we do have access to the basically API for Coinbase. So everybody's using their bots are trained on Coinbase. So there's a lot of bots trading this market, and they seem to be really tied into what's happening here on this one right here. So the order book is pretty thin. Prices could move pretty far in both directions at the moment. But again, as we start this new one, I'm going in on up. See if I can get a cheaper price. Oh, yeah. Well, hold on here. It's falling off a cliff. I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do just two contracts. What is it at? 36 now? 33. Okay, so I'm just, this is not my usual strategy, but because it's so oversold right now, way outside the lines of the Bollinger Bands, I'm just going to take a little bit of a risk here, and it's not much of a risk, it's 60-cent risk, but just get in on that position of yes, because it's so oversold. Now, Bitcoin has been going back and forth between 63 and 64 for it seems like forever now, like at least a month. And it just goes back and forth. I think at one point it got down to 59 or something like that. But every time I come back and check in, it's 63 something, So this is just part of the daily fluctuations of Bitcoin. There will be, there's somebody licking their chops right now and about to go on a buying spree, I'm guessing. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. So anyway, my strategy is usually buy sure things. And it would seem like, oh, I made a mistake. I bought, it was 100 down. But I don't have to win this thing. I would have much rather gotten in at 17 cents, but anyway. So I'm probably going to lose that first bet, but I'm far from being done on this market. So my 2-beat line is lower than yours. Wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why too. That's What number do you have there? That would be weird. Let me just give it an update and see. Yeah, so is everybody at to beat 63, 905, 71? That would be bizarre. How bizarre. But yeah, it's falling off a freaking cliff right now. Jeez. So you may be right. It may be just completely tanking at the moment. Who knows? It's the delay? Okay. Yeah, I'm about 15 seconds behind. So yeah, this is what we're going to do is buy the other side and buy down. Even though there's 10 minutes to go. We're just going to do 5. Trying to calculate how much I'm in for. Yeah, no, 5 is fine. Let's see if I can get a better price. I may go more than this. I'm going to go 10. See if I can get a little bit better price, but I doubt it. We're already 222 away, so I think we're just going to get in here. Now, when I buy the other side for more, when that happens, see, I bought 10. It sold the other 2 already, so it sold it at 6% or whatever. So now I have 8 at 92. And we're going to have to hold for a while, but I'm just going to go 99.9. Oops. And this is a good chance for me to just walk through my whole process. So there's 99.9 for my take profit. So now that's on the board. As soon as it hits 99.9, I'm going to get paid. But I also have to be ready to stop a loss. If this thing goes crazy and starts bouncing back like it kind of is right now, I got in at 92. I want to be out at, we're going to put 75, but if it gets to 80, I'm out. And I'll just put in at 75. It'll give, hopefully that will, the price won't pass me. So that's the plan. If the price gets to 80, which seems unlikely at this moment, I'll sell for 75, and it'll probably give me somewhere between 75 and 80. All cryptos. Yeah, my experience is that all cryptos are basically tied to Bitcoin. There's some rare occurrences where a small coin will have just a breakout for some news-related thing, but pretty much everyday stuff on here is everything reacting to what Bitcoin does. that's why I have been kind of thinking about exploring doing the combos, doing all whatever they offer. I think it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sol, XRP, Doge. I think there might be 6 of them. Hype might be one of them. But you can do them all at the same time. And I feel like there are circumstances, like, for example, this one right here, where it's massively fallen off, where the combo might be worthwhile. It's updating the same as yours. Updating the delay, like he said. So this is how I do a stop loss. You know, I'm editing this price from what it was, which was 99.9, to 75, and just all I have to do to sell is press confirm, and that would change the price that I have on the board. That's the best way that I can think of to be ready to press one button to sell at a loss, a stop loss. And I really wish that that Kalshi would add a stop loss for predictive markets, because that would be just less stress for me. But for whatever reason, they don't do that. Okay, we're kind of creeping, but I think it's slow enough that we're fine. Let me just pull out of here for a second and look. Yeah, we're still 150 away with 6 minutes to go. Price is rising kind of fast, which makes sense. I mean, we should expect a bounce back here pretty soon. And it could very well be more than 140. So we got to be ready with this stop loss. I think we'll be all right, but we got to be ready. Because these things can change in a heartbeat. Can bounce back here. It's been pretty significantly sold for the last hour. All right, that's good news for me on this market. Falling back down a little bit. Yeah. It's rising. It was. So on this one, I expect to end up with like a very small profit or just break even, because I got the first one wrong. But it's rising a little bit faster than makes me comfortable. My ideal situation is to be in for as little time as possible, scalp my profits, and get out. I feel like the longer you're in, the more possibility of crazy crap happening. So, but we're falling down again. Looks like we're going to be okay, I think. Maybe. I'm probably just going to change this for my own comfort level. Just going to go 99 and get out. So that was just a break even. Lost 3 cents. So I guessed incorrectly. I thought for sure we'd get an up on that one. We didn't. The downtrend continued. So even though I was wrong, I still basically broke even. So, and now I don't have to like deal with the stress of this last 1 minute. So, I mean, that's my strategy. It doesn't have to be yours, but that's how I tend to do things. Is just taking the wins and then, but not necessarily risking. Trying to take high probability plays and get out if they turn against me. So since we were down at minus 220 and now we're back up to 100 and it's so oversold, that's why I got out at 99. I'm just like, this could do something crazy because it's so oversold for the last hour. So I'm pretty wary about this one, this market right now. Hey David, how are you today? Where in the world is everybody from? I know Alan's in Utah because it's in his name, but where's everybody joining me from? I'm in Northern California among the redwoods along the coast here. But yeah, let me know where you're from, and let me know if you wouldn't mind clicking the like button for me and hitting those emojis on the screen. Give me 5 of those. I think that helps quite a bit. We're getting some nice numbers in here now. North Carolina's in the house. St. Louis, Missouri. I lived in North Carolina for a while, in New Bern, North Carolina, out by the coast. I was the golf pro at Carolina Colors Golf Club. Florida, nice. I lived in Florida too. I've been all over the place. I've been everywhere, man. I'm that Johnny Cash song. But I settled in on the Pacific Northwest as my happy place, especially this time of year because it's like every day is 70 degrees. Everybody else is burning up, and I'm just in my hoodie, Queen City, is that? I don't know. I don't know Queen City. I don't think I've ever seen Queen City. What part of the state is that in? So yeah, if you're a gambling type, if you like 50-50 odds and you feel like you want to get an edge on 50-50, I would bet up on the next one. We got four down in a row and below the Bollinger Band here. So yep, if you're a gambling type, go up. I'm not a gambling type. I'm a trader. I like for sure kind of things, like. Oh, we're looking at the wrong board again. All right, let's see if we can get the strike point on the board for. The website is terrible for Kalshi about updating the strike. Hey, I got a question. If I take Bitcoin to go up and it goes down after the 60-second mark, nothing happens unless you sell after the 60-second mark. You only automatically get paid either 100% or 0% at the end of the 15 minutes. If you want to get paid after 60 seconds, you have to sell. Try to sell at the current price. So that's how you would make money, is by selling. So and you'd either take a loss or take a profit, based on where you got in at. Virginia Beach, Charlotte, North Carolina. I like North Carolina. Just like in the summer, it was like walking out into a furnace, a humid furnace. But I like living there. It's a beautiful place. But I said I've been everywhere. The last 10, before I bought this land in the Pacific Northwest, I was a full-time RVer for about 10, 12 years. So I just traveled the west of the United States full-time. living in a place 2 weeks at a time and then moving on, and always kind of chasing 70, 80-degree weather everywhere I went. So that was fun, but then it got kind of old, and I've seen everything. I've been everywhere, so I just decided to hang out in the place that I like the best. So I do like the Pacific Northwest. If you ever get a chance, I think the best drive in America is the Highway 1 or 101 up, from San Francisco up to Vancouver. That whole coastline is spectacular. A great summer trip if you ever want to do a kind of a road trip, and yeah, there's lots of beautiful spots along the way, and there's a lot of beautiful parts of America, but that's my favorite. Okay, gonna lock in here. We're down again. Unbelievable. Sorry for the bad advice. That being said, I'm still like, well, it's got to bounce back here at some point, doesn't it? Or are we going to zero? So again, that's why I preface what I said with, if you're a gambling person, because those are the kinds of things that should give you an edge at this moment. You're outside the Bollinger Bands. You've had 4 downs in a row. I guess the argument would be, well, until the trend breaks, you should hold off. So I could see that. I mean, that advice is pretty strong as well. But okay, now I'm going to remember to go over and make sure I'm on Coinbase. So yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for this thing to bounce back and to do it in a kind of really energetic fashion. Virginia's got it all: the beach, swamp, mountains, country areas, big city areas, beautiful state. You took up? Oh, man. Sorry, David. Hope you didn't put in too much. But if you, there's another strategy called martingale. You may have heard it before in like casino, especially for roulette. It's basically just do it again, double down. That's a strategy. If you didn't invest too much the first time, hopefully you're doing the 1% advice I gave you before. But with 4 down in a row, it's very rare for a streak of 8 or more in one direction. It's not unheard of. There's been 17 in a row in one direction. That's the record in Bitcoin 15-minute markets. How do I know this? Because I built a bot, and that was part of the design, was figuring out that equation. But martingale, let's say you invested 1% on this up, and you still have a strong indicator that it's going up. Well, then on the next one, if you don't win on this one, then on the next one, you double down. And so, again, the drawback of martingale is it works 100% of the time until it doesn't. And until you run out of money. Like it would work if you had an unlimited bankroll. Like, you could just keep doubling down. But yeah, just something to keep in mind, that the average, most streaks don't go past 4, You only get a streak of 9. I think 8 is like every two weeks or so on average. 9 is like maybe once or twice a month. 10, maybe, you might get that every 2 months. 11, just like it becomes more and more rare, these streaks. So, as AI loves to point out to me, and is a fair point, it's a gambler's fallacy to think that the next one's got to be up because it's been 7 down in a row. Every market's on its own, but that's the way the numbers kind of play out, especially in crypto, in like investment markets like this, where once there's a good price, people want to buy the cheap price, and so it drives it back up. It's not like a coin flip. There's no momentum on a coin flip, but there is momentum on a financial market. So, like, just keep all that in mind. You're bouncing back on this. You might win this one anyway. But if you're really confident about something, or it's been like 7 in a row, if you start a martingale late, your chances of winning are very high. Okay. Looking better for David. Looking like better than we thought it would. But let's see. What did you get in at, David? What was your entry price? And I'm guessing everybody wishes they would have bought up when it was down at 15 cents. But hindsight is always 20/20. But yeah, this is what those indicators can be helpful for. Not to say that this is going to finish up, but I'd be curious to know what price you bought up at, David. Awesome, man. Like, it looked like I had no idea what I was talking about. And to be honest, I mean, these markets can make somebody who's been watching them for a long time look pretty silly some days. But that had all the, markings of an up was coming. It's just you don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but it's on the way. And when this market started down 100 plus, it sure didn't look like up was going to be even possible. But that's what those Bollinger Bands can be helpful for. And that's the setup that will drive the most confidence for me, is when I see the price outside of Bollinger Bands, especially when it's gone outside. It went outside 2 in a row. It's going to tend to want to bounce back because it's such a good price for the market. It's been oversold too much in too short of a time. So gotta love getting a win when it looks like the win wasn't even a flicker of hope. And I was going to say, I was going to definitely recommend for you to take profit because this is still pretty unstable. And it's not far enough away from the strike point to be confident. So, if you were still holding, I would have been recommending for you to sell when it was in the 70s. So, we're playing an educated guessing game, but trying to have a strategy that allows us to mitigate risk, grab small profits when they're available, and manage your bankroll. Don't get overexposed. Just treat it like, I think of it this way. I have a savings account at my bank. my whole life, I never put money in my savings account. But they always have, with a credit union, you always have to have something in your savings account. So I have like $25 in my savings account. And every month I get a statement, and some months it's 0 cents interest. Some months it's 1 cent, And so I always remind myself that, like, even like 50 cents in a 15-minute period is crazy return on investments. Like, it's very good, So just trying to think about it that way. And then all of this stuff compounds as your portfolio grows. Your 1% at 1,000 is $10 instead of one, So, but don't rush to get there, because you'll get burned trying to rush to get there. I think you got to work within the parameters of what you got, and be patient. I think that's what I'm learning about this. Be patient and be committed, especially to taking a loss, and taking a loss well, which is something I learned, well, the hard way, but also from Warrior Trading and a number of other sites. It's like learning to have a stop loss and how to execute that. So helpful. So it's the hardest part for me. The hardest part is when I make a mistake or lose, and trying to make it back real fast. And then the other mistake is not taking the stop loss when I know I should. Like, I'll just hold for another second. Maybe it'll turn around. I can't do that. I cannot do that. So this thing ended up being like down to the wire, barely up at the end, but I'm glad it worked out for David. I stayed out of the whole thing and just decided to do commentary. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit for chatting and commentating here. I'll come back on. Hey, $5, man. It's where else can you, sitting on your couch at home or wherever you are, make $5 in 15 minutes, like this. Pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'm glad that worked out. All right. I'm going to put it on music mode. I'll be here. I'll be looking at the chat. If a question pops up, I may come back on and talk again just to answer the question. But I'm going to get back into trading mode and chilling with the music. So, by the way, I am a recording artist. This is not my music that we're listening to. It's just copyright-free lo-fi. But if you want to support me, you can listen to my music. It is, I would call, folk rock, maybe just more folk, rocky, country. It's a mix of stuff. But I've got a bass voice. I play an acoustic guitar. I work with other musicians. My name is Seven Streams on every platform. So if you listen to music, no matter where you listen, you should be able to search Seven Streams, and just streaming my music is very helpful to me. So you being here in this live, super helpful for me. All your questions and the likes and emojis you're hitting, all that stuff, super helpful. And if you like music and you want to support me in that way, awesome. I'll be back in a little bit, but I'm going to play some music and focus on trading, and so you can watch me make decisions. If you have any questions, just write them in there, and I'll come back and talk about them. Oops. Oh boy. Oh boy.
PNC Bank brings you Call of the Wild Money Moves. You hear that?
YOLO!
That's an internet troll telling you to put all your money into a single investment.
YOLO, YOLO!
He wants you to liquidate your emergency fund.
I thought I'd come back on for this good win. I figured we were going to get a yes bounce back here at some point. Anyway, I figured we'd get another bounce back here after this long downturn. I don't normally do get in at a low probability for early in the market, but because it had been so long down, I started going in early, and finally got it to bounce back for me. I'm only doing 2 contracts, very cautious about it, but ended up working out in my favor. I'll get $1.40 from this one. But again, you can use what I'm doing and scale it at whatever level you're comfortable with. If you've got a $10,000 bankroll, you can be doing 100 times what I'm doing, but just do the same kind of format. So anyway, we've got this big bounce back. Now we're going to be a lot less sure about what's coming next because kind of knew the up was coming. Now we just have to see if it's going to try and go back and test the upper levels again, or if it's going to stagnate. So now we're in observation mode and going to fall back to kind of what I tend to like to do, which is wait toward the end, get in at like 80 cents, 85, 90 cents, somewhere in there, and just scalp a little profit. But that's that one kind of example where I know it's coming. The chart says it's coming. It's been like basically 7 down in a row. It's gone down for like an hour and a half. You know the yes is going to come eventually, and there it was. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to hit the like button, maybe share this with somebody, or hit some of those emojis on the bottom right or wherever that is on your screen. All those things help to get some more people to join us. The live definitely does better when I'm talking, so this is a good opportunity to see if the folks who are here, if what I'm doing is of value to you at all. Those are some things you can do to help. Also, again, I mentioned I'm a recording artist, so if you want to stream my music, it is 7 streams, and you can find my music on any platform. Yeah. But yeah, if you have any questions or you want to talk about strategy or anything you're seeing on the screen that you don't understand, just let me know. I think that finally, after a bad loss, I think it was late last night, in the 2 o'clock in the morning realm, I'm finally recovered from that. I'm back at, I believe, positive, barely positive for the day. Yeah, we're 60 cents positive. This is the goal we're going for, is to have this right here be 10%. Every day we're trying to grow 10%. That's the goal. And to not take unnecessary risks to get there, to kind of plod along, and yeah. The market is starting to wake up. I know the audio on this is not great. I'm going to work on that eventually to get that better. But the market is changing. It's getting a little bit more dynamic, which usually happens Sunday afternoon. We're at 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast in the United States. So we're getting... People are kind of done with the family stuff for the day. They're kind of maybe had dinner or getting ready for dinner. They're mellowing out, and so the markets begin to pick up again. I find that between Friday at afternoon, even like at 3 p.m., West Coast time, 6 p.m. East. It really quiets down all through Saturday and then Sunday morning. And then really the new week has begun on the market energetically. So you can expect a lot more dynamic behavior. So, but if there's no questions or interactions going to happen, I'm going to turn the music back on, and I'll be here if you want to chat. If you got any questions, or just let me know. But we're celebrating a nice little win and getting back into trading mode. So I'll be here. If you have questions, I'll come back and answer. So I just did a long talk, but I'm not sure that it came through. I think I may have had the stuff clicked on the wrong buttons. But anyway, I may be repeating myself. You may have heard this already, but we had a nice little win there. I am seeing that the market is starting to get more volatile, which usually happens on Sunday afternoon. It's basically the start of the new week for trading on Bitcoin. So we start to get bigger swings, more volatility, more up and down and back and forth. And so we're going to keep an eye on things, be a little bit more cautious now. Whereas over the weekend, a $50 or even a $20 difference can sometimes mean a lot. Now we have to get our mindset into the place of, at least at this moment, a $50 difference is not a lot. The market can overcome that pretty quickly here. So, conditions are changing. More energetic, more movement. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to go, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll go back to music mode. But if you want to click the like, hit some of those emojis, the hearts and all those stuff at the bottom. That helps the live. Your comments help the live. And just being here helps the live. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all the questions we've had today. And I'm hoping this is helpful for people. And but I'll be here. If you have questions, just let me know. I'll go back into silent music mode. But I'll come back if anybody has any comments or wants to chat. So. Hey there, Beyond Surface Julian. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, right now we're witnessing a pretty big shift in the market. We're going from quiet weekend mode. Usually at some point on Sunday afternoon, people get back to their computers or screens and start trading again. So we're starting to get pretty big movements in both directions. So hello, Carlos. I am being pretty cautious at the moment, just watching how things are going, just trying to calibrate myself to what's happening. If it stays this energetic, what I sometimes do in these situations is just buy the low side when it gets to like 30, and see if I can get out at like 50. Usually in like stable market conditions, I'm in at like 80 to 90, even sometimes 94. That's what I tried to get in on here, but I missed it. But yeah, that's when market conditions are pretty quiet and stable. We're now moving into kind of trading midweek mode, basically. There's a lot of folks on the market right now, and the price is moving pretty dramatically. So right now, it's a lot of observation and recalibrating. This is not my ideal trading conditions. I prefer more quiet, more stable. So I'm going to hang out here. I'm going to maybe try one or two things, but what I'll probably do, if I don't get some really good, amazing results here in the first one or two, is I'll take a break, go do other things in my life, and then come back in the evenings. I like to trade on the weekends and in the evenings when the conditions tend to be more quiet. So we'll see. We're going to try kind of a different strategy for this market, and we'll see how it goes. I'll especially be interested in if up on the next one gets cheap right away, because we're very oversold down here. The market tends to want to go back up, and I'm expecting a rebound. It's happening a lot slower than I thought it would. We're getting a lot of down movement. So for me right now, the market's kind of not behaving in a way that I'm super confident I can predict. So in these kind of conditions, I'm less likely to take risk. I'm going to do small amounts. I'm going to do, the lower side and try to just scalp some profits. So, but if anybody has any questions about anything they're seeing on the board, just let me know. If you could hit the likes and hit the emojis for me, I appreciate that. All right. If we don't have any questions, I'll hang out here for a minute more. But if we don't have any more questions, or if we don't have any more conversation, I'll just go back to playing the music. So. But as you can see, we're getting big price swings in both directions. I consider 100 in general to be a lot of movement in one direction. So we already had over 100 down, and now we're moving up. We're not going to have enough time in this market for it to get back to the strike, but it's moving pretty heavy up now. All right, we'll go back to music mode. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna do my afternoon stuff, and I'm gonna go and take a break, and then come back in the evening. I'll probably start up after dark Pacific time, so I like the late night shift. So I'll probably be back around 8 or 9 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to come back and join me, but I'm planning to do this every day. But mostly on the weekends during the day, and then every day in the evenings. So if you want to catch up with me, I'll probably be live if you're available those times. I hope you got some good stuff out of this, and yeah, good luck to you. Yeah, find a strategy, stick to it, and I wish you good luck. I'll be back probably about 4 or 5 more hours from now. I'll be back doing live for the evening session. So have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.